I was saying before how I found it really helpful to try and find out a bit about who Jesus really was, and not just to accept what I've been told. And I've actually done quite a lot of private work on this. I've read a lot of books and tried to find out about who this person was and what would have made him say the things he said. I'm actually especially interested in this, which is called the Gospel of Thomas, and which was only found, I mean, fairly recently, I don't know when, last 50 years or so. And it is thought perhaps to have been suppressed at the time. It's thought not to have necessarily been, it doesn't tell a story, you see. It isn't part of the story. It's a series of sayings that this man said. And it's thought that it's probably was written down over a number of years just by listening to him. And it doesn't form a pattern. I love the Sermon on the Mount, which is in the, the proper Bible. It's in St. Matthew. It's really good. Really extraordinary series of statements and inspiring stuff. But I find this very inspiring as well. And when I first read it, when I first opened it, it just opened at this page, and this happened to be the first one I read. And it isn't in here, in the Bible, anywhere. It says, Jesus said, "Let one who seeks not stop seeking until one finds. When one finds, one will be troubled. When one is troubled, one will marvel and will rule over all." There's another translation here of it, and where this one says troubled, this one says turned around. And I find that really interesting. When one finds, one will be turned around. And when one is turned around, one will marvel. I'm not worried about the reign over all business. I can leave that out for myself. But when one is turned around, one will marvel. In a way, I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, for goodness sake, but in a way, you see, when I came to Quakers, that's what happened to me. I have been turned around by these people. They've done a huge amount for me. This whole business of finding the Quakers, as I did when I was in a mess, has changed my life in a way. Well, no, not in a way. It's changed my life, and there's something about the trouble, the difficulty of being turned around that speaks to me in what Jesus says in that little statement. It reminds me of something in here, actually, this little book called Advices and Queries, which in the introduction it says it's for the comfort and discomfort of Quakers. And there's something about the comfort and that balance of comfort and discomfort, of being discomforted, being turned around, being troubled by one's own behaviour or something in the world and needing to change it. And the comfort, that what Jesus calls the marvel, of doing something about it. And that means a lot to me. I don't just read Jesus in other places. I read it in the Bible as well. I read what he had to say. There's a bit that, again, really inspires me. Right at the end, when he's about to be arrested, he prays. He kneels there praying, and his friends all go round the corner and fall asleep. And it really does mean a lot to me, this story. In the Bible, he falls asleep, they fall asleep 3 times. He wakes them up 3 times. In this book, which is the Gospel according to Jesus, which is, we hope, a little bit more what actually took place, they fall asleep once. he is on the verge of being arrested. He is on the verge of being executed. And all his mates go round the corner and fall asleep. And in the Bible, he comes back to them and says, look, for goodness sake, stay awake. And he continues praying, and he finds them again asleep and wakes them up. And then the third time, he says, are you still asleep? And I find that terribly moving, because it seems to me to be a metaphor for my entire life. I feel as if I have been asleep, that things are going on all around me that matter, that I could be helping with, I could actually be doing something, and I've spent half my life, no, an awful lot more than that, asleep. And it's a constant reminder to me, this book, to wake up.